And we are live. Welcome back, CP. It's good to see you, buddy. It's been a
Good to
little
see.
bit.
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah, we got a lot to dive into tonight. Some good news, some bad news. Um, Before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys of the For Fantasy Sake charity golf outing. That's August 2nd. Starts at 8 a.m. It's on a Sunday. Registration will be at 7:30. It's $280 a team. That's $70 a person. Included in that is 18 holes and a card, of course. And then you get vouchers for Lifted Energy and Hungry Carnivore. And also, all proceeds for this event go to community driven efforts such as Toys for Tots. So it's a great way to give back to the community. I've been seeing CP putting in work on the Snapchat. He's been sending me videos. He's probably better than me at golf right now. The guy's putting in the work. I might be the worst player on our team. It's looking very likely at this point, but it's going to be a fun time. There's also going to be some fantasy related prizes too, because it is a fantasy golf outing. So we're going to try to mix in a little bit of fantasy football stuff with that as well. Very much looking forward to seeing you guys all there. If you don't want to golf and that's not your thing, but you do want to help give back, we are looking for sponsors for holes. So if that's something that interests you, please get a hold of myself or DJ, and we'll help you get signed up with that. And the last thing I want to remind you guys of too is this year the Toys for Tots Bowl. This is the sixth year that DJ and the guys have been running this, and they've raised over $10,000 so far through the first 5 years. And the goal this year is to get 240 teams. There's several local QC celebrities that are going to be competing. You get a chance to compete against me. I like to think of myself as one of the best fantasy players there are out there. CP might have some differing opinions. Last I checked, though, him and I both won our Superflex League. So I don't know, CP. Maybe you throw your hat in the ring because you got a little fantasy. You're pretty good at fantasy too. So, but this is one of those things. It's another way to give back to the community. All proceeds go to Toys for Tots, which is huge around Christmas time in the Quad City area. Just helping those in need and making their holiday season a little bit more special. As part of that, for tonight, CP, since we are going to be talking about the stadium, and I got a lot of choice words, I'm invoking a swear counter on myself. So for every time I say any cuss word or anything, I'm donating $3 per word to the Toys for Tots Bowl. So hopefully I can tame it down a little bit, but I have some very heated thoughts towards the state of Illinois. But before we get into that, I just want to open up with the sad passing for the Chicago Bulls announcer and former Bulls player Stacey King. CP, what did Stacey King mean to you as a Bulls fan?
Man, Stacey King was everything to me as a Bulls fan. Obviously, I didn't grow up during the Michael Jordan era, so I had the Derrick Rose Bulls, and man, were they exciting! And you cannot think of the Derrick Rose Bulls without Stacey King's voice behind it. I mean, obviously, everybody talks about the Goran Dragic dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not get the memo? Man, again, Stacey King was just everything to me. When I saw the news, I was absolutely devastated, just because every time I tune into a game, they bring that energy. You always know what you're gonna get. And even before Adam Amin, it was Neil Funk and Stacey King. It was kind of like, Neil Funk was the old wise grandpa, and then Stacey King was like the fun uncle that just got you excited every time there was a play and just got you up out of your seat. Again, all the hilarious catchphrases. He animated the game. He really brought everything to life as a Bulls fan. Even through those clunky last couple years, the playing teams, we had exciting moments, and it was Stacey King that almost put an exclamation point on those few bright spots that we had. Again, every player had a unique nickname. It was just like, I'm absolutely devastated because you cannot replace a Stacey King.
Yeah.
He's literally like my favorite commentator, and this isn't like a recency bias thing. This is I haven't been paying for the Bulls the last couple of years. So if I'm, streaming a game, whether that be Stream East or wherever, I was streaming it. And if they didn't have the Bulls play by play, like I would look for it just because, again, like Stacey King, he's the voice of the Chicago Bulls for me, at least. You know, I wasn't around for Red Kerr. Stacey King is synonymous with the Bulls. Again, every single moment, you know, Stacey King brought that to life for me. If there's a highlight that I see and the Bulls are on like national television and I see the highlight on Twitter, I'm immediately looking for the Stacey King version of that highlight because I know it's going to be so
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, you know it's going to be animated.
Yeah, and like seriously, like just for selfish reasons. Obviously, like I'm going to miss Stacey King. You know,
Oh,
I would have
yeah.
I would have rather he retired and still been around because he was always going to be around. And now that he's gone, it's like wow, like we're really never going to have that energy and that personality associated with the fan base. And again, I know Adam's going to do a great job, and whoever they bring in, I'm sure is going to do a great job. But that's just a one on one. That's the white
Yeah.
whale
Yeah,
of
you're never
commentating.
replacing Stacy. I mean, I went and did a little looking into it because I obviously like he's definitely you tie him to the D Rose era, and he actually has been the Bulls announcer since 2006. So he had 20 years in. I knew it was 15 plus years, but 20 years in. Um, yeah, he just embodied what it means to be a Bull. You know, he was part of that first championship run, which I too was too young to remember. I only really remembered the end of the second three-peat, but he just brought the game to life. Even when the team was bad, I mean, when they were just complete ass, they would. He just made them more entertaining. Like even the guy that maybe wasn't a long-term player might do something special, and he made that moment feel special. He really just, like C.J. Watson was really important during some of those Rose teams, and I just always loved the way he said C.J. Watson. Like he just the way he did it for all the players. Give me the hot sauce. Like just
Yeah.
he just had his he just has a whole catalog. I mean, the last 2 days I've just been watching clips on Twitter of him just making these moments bigger and just how much it meant to him and how much he loved this organization. And it's just such a terrible loss. I mean, there's just no replacing him. And I don't know how to it's just it'll be a while before I recover from this one because he really is the voice of the Bulls. When you think of the Bulls, you think of Stacey King. And yeah, it's tough. There even like you were saying in the bad seasons. I caught a clip of him and Adam Amin. They were talking. I think it was like a Bulls Wizards game, and there were some bad. I mean, like these are some bad teams, and him and Adam Amin are just cracking up. They got a little joke going on between them, and they're like, all right, we got to get back to basketball. But like even their dynamic together was really good too. Like Adam Amin really, when they brought him in, Stacey kind of brought him under his wing. And yeah, it's just a devastating loss for the franchise, dude.
Yeah, and I liken it to like I always because obviously we're a little older, so we kind of missed out on like the streamer generation. Like I
Mm-hmm.
always like ask people like how do kids watch these streamers go and like live their life and like do things and they just watch them and the response I've always got was okay, well these kids feel like they're with them, like they're doing these things with them. And for me, like that was like Stacey King. Like when I'm watching the game, if because obviously all our friends are funny and goofy, so it felt like I was sitting on the couch with Stacey King and he was my friend and he was just making jokes and bringing things to life. Like that's literally like how it felt. I know that sounds cliche, but I watch a lot of basketball games by myself, so it's like me, Stacy, and Adam or Neil Funk. Like, man, we're just the guys hanging out watching the basketball game, and man, like I'm really gonna miss them. It's gonna hit hard, like when I'm watching that first basketball game, and whoever we draft fourth makes a crazy play, and he doesn't have a new nickname for him, or you know little boozy vert goes up and dunks on somebody, and I'm just gonna be like, man, like that moment, like what would Stacy do in that moment? Like I'm always gonna think about that in the back of my head, and I think that somebody on Twitter was talking about that. Like it's sad that he doesn't get to usher us into this Bryson Graham, new era that we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, I definitely like he definitely would have been so excited about this draft pick and really probably the direction that this team's going to be headed. Um, It just yeah, it's just devastating. There's just no filling those shoes. Hopefully whoever comes in next, does an admirable job. Like it's just one of those things where you just can't replace the goat. Uh,
Yeah.
Stacey King he's the voice of the Bulls to me, and I got a feeling in 20 years, man, we'll be talking about this, and we'll probably still feel the same way. There just probably will never be another Stacey King, and what he meant to this franchise. Um, but we'll get on to some NFL stuff. I just wanted to have us take a moment and talk about Stacey King because I mean, just what he meant to the franchise and what he meant to us as fans and bringing the game to life and just like you said, it felt like you were hanging out with him when you're sitting on the couch watching him. He made you feel like you were there, and that's just something that's really hard for any announcer to do. And he did it so well over 20 years. And I just wanted to pay our respects to him because he meant a lot to us as Bulls fans, and we're definitely going to miss him. Um, but we'll get to the NFL news. So there was before we get to some Bears stuff, there's some general NFL news. So there's a couple big trades since we've last talked. Uh, AJ Brown going to New England, which sounded like that was already a done deal. And then, oh, I lost CP. He looks like he might have went. I'm not sure if we're having connectivity issues. Can you hear me, CP? Give us a moment. We're having some technical difficulties. See, DJ down there should be one letter per letter, huh? $1 per letter. I don't know. Three per word's pretty fair.
All right. Sorry
There'll
about
be a
that.
lot of four-letter swear words being said here.
All right.
Uh,
Sorry. I think I got a
no,
call and it threw me off. Can you hear me?
no worries, buddy. So yeah, like I was saying, so we saw the AJB trade to the Patriots. We kind of figured that was coming. That had been reported for a long time. But the big blockbuster, the Rams getting Myles Garrett. Watch out. What are your thoughts on that trade, and what do you think about the Bears' involvement or lack thereof?
First thoughts, wow. I mean, you texted the group chat and said the Rams doing Ram things, and I didn't expect that. When I
Yeah.
looked it up, I hopped on Twitter and typed in the Rams and was like, ugh.
Hey, 0 sacks on Caleb in the divisional game will have you trade your young edge rusher to go get a superstar.
Here's what I'll say. Myles Garrett's obviously the best defensive player in the league,
Yeah.
hands down. They did give up Jared Verse, and it's not like Jared Verse is a slouch.
No,
It's not
we
like
didn't
they
have a
had a
Jared
nobody.
Verse. We didn't have a Jared Verse laying
Yeah,
around to trade. That's why it's like the Bears were never going to get there because
yeah.
we don't have one of those.
There's few teams in those trade talks if that's what they want back, and I think more and more you're starting to see teams want like a player back. They're smartening up and becoming more like the NBA, and I think they even said is it Andrew Barry? Was it talking to Sam Presti, the Oklahoma City Thunder GM?
Hmm.
Obviously, the best of the best when it comes to basketball.
Yeah,
And
he is.
he was talking to him, and they're likening the trade to the Paul George trade where they got SGA back. Two different sports, so it's interesting. But
Yeah.
but I've noticed that more so recently, and even the Bears. It started with the Bears when they got DJ Moore in that Bryce Young, Caleb Williams
Hmm. And we
trade.
had no expectations of getting DJ Moore. We knew we were trading the first overall pick, but to
Yeah.
get DJ Moore in that trade, in addition to all the other things, was like, damn, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, so you're starting to see more of that. But again, it's really unique to see a player of Jared versus caliber and his age and his contract situation be traded as well. The Rams are pushing their chips in,
Hmm.
which is weird to me because they also just drafted a quarterback first overall. So like if
Well,
your chips,
their
if you
first pick, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, with the first round pick, yeah, with their first round pick. So it's weird because they're pushing their chips in, but they drafted a quarterback when they could have drafted a player who was going to help them get that championship. So it's kind of interesting to see them on both sides of the fence with, win now mode and then future mode. And maybe it's, obviously Ty Johnson could come in and win games for them this year if Matthew Stafford gets hurt.
Yeah. I think that to me, like that's if the Rams are doing something that maybe seems questionable, I think we just gotta trust that they know what they're doing because they've kind of just shown it time and time again. Getting him with McVay and Stafford, maybe they saw something they liked and giving him a year or two to kind of learn under Stafford and McVay puts him in position to be a solid NFL quarterback. I don't know. I was very shocked, like everybody else, about the pick. But when an organization like the Rams does something like that, you have to kind of just trust them. I know our buddy Rob was like, "What are we doing?" But you kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They know how to build a winner. They've won a Super Bowl in the last 6 years. That was one of those head scratching moves, but it might make them look smart in a couple years. But yeah, that to me, like, yeah, they're all in. Stafford's got a year or two left, probably. Garrett, I didn't even realize Garrett was 30. Man, he's been in the league for that long. Yeah, they're all in, which that's going to matter for the Bears because that team's going to probably be who we have to beat if we want to go to the Super Bowl this year. More than likely, assuming health.
Yeah, and I think the Rams have figured it out. Again, they're always ahead of the curve when it comes to these things. Picks in the back half of the first round just really are so much more different than picks in the first half of the first round. The difference probably between pick 28 and pick 40 in most drafts are just marginal.
Oh, absolutely.
So they're giving away a first round pick, but again, players just look at players drafted in the back half of the first round. The chances of them becoming
Not good.
Pro Bowls, all pro players are probably the same odds as again a player in like early second.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely. And I mean, if you look at their use of their first round picks over the last 10 years or so, maybe a little bit shorter, they've traded a very big majority of those first round picks.
Well, I know. I think after Goff, Verse is the only one.
Yeah, I was gonna
Verse
say
and Ty
versus.
Simpson.
Yeah, Verse and Simpson are the only first picks they've actually used. The rest have gone in trades for like Jalen Ramsey, Stafford. Yeah, I mean they don't care, and like you said, they've caught on to like that marginal thing of pick 28 through 40. I mean, we can even see it as Bears fans with Jalen Johnson. He was a projected first round pick, ends up sliding to the early mid second, and he clearly should have been a first round pick. And that is the margin of the players. Like you could get a guy that probably should have been a first round pick in the top 40. You know what I mean? In this early second round. So yeah, they've clearly caught on, and they're a winning organization. So it sucks for us as Bears fans, but everyone else is trying to win too. So just another thing for them to overcome. I do think the AJB trade is going to be pretty good for Drake May. I do think Drake May was a schedule merchant last year. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from the young man. He definitely had a very favorable schedule last year. But getting someone like AJB who finally can get a quarterback, because Jalen Hurts his ass. I mean, that guy, I don't know, he can't throw the football, in my opinion. So I think that's a good move for them. They're definitely going to be trying to get back to the Super Bowl again. He's going to be more of an impact player. So if you still got him in the Superflex league, man, you should be excited. I think you'll like what he's bringing to the table this year.
Okay, so I was just interested. I was trying to find like all the players that were drafted with the Rams first pick, and I can't find a complete list, but like this is up to 2021. So looks like 2016 they have Corey Coleman. And then it says Corey Davis, Isaiah Wynn, Caleb McGarry, Kalavon Chasen. I can't even remember how to pronounce his last name, but I think he went to LSU. And then ETN. So, these guys are just regular guys that they're trading away, and they're getting
that's
back in return.
They definitely figured out the sweet spot for sure because yeah, none of those guys are are going to be a Jalen Ramsey or a Myles Garrett, level player. They've definitely found the little I don't even call it the little honey hole or the little sweet spot of trading those first round picks to get studs. I mean, that's what you hope the Bears do at some point. We're not quite to that position, but when the Bears are in that 3 to 5 year window, and you would hope they start doing stuff like that. Although Poles has proven to be pretty stingy with those firsts, but we'll
Well,
see. It might change when the situation changes.
well, I did see an article that said a lot of the teams that make these splash plays have their quarterback locked up under contract. And with that looming, we don't necessarily know what our cap situation is going to be and
True.
how fluid it will. And a lot of people, you'd think it would be the opposite. A lot of people are like, "Oh, we're on that rookie contract, get aggressive," and then the statistics tell us that it's the opposite. Like, wait until your quarterback's locked up, and then you kind of have the blueprint cap
Yeah,
situationally, and then you can kind of go from there. So
that makes sense because I mean, at the way it's going, Caleb's going to be a top 5, top 3 paid quarterback, maybe even number 1 when his contract comes up. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit homery with the number 1, but Caleb's on the cover of Madden, dude. We got a quarterback on the cover of Madden, and my cat wants to say hello. Uh, yeah, we've got a quarterback on the cover of Madden. How do you feel about that?
I don't know how to feel because Caleb had a great season. Was he Madden cover worthy? I don't think so. If we're being honest,
No,
just
you could have went. There was other
statistically,
options. There were other options for sure. There were
like
definitely other
Miles
options.
Garrett could have been on the cover of Madden.
Oh, yeah,
Speaking of Miles
absolutely.
Garrett, I just think that it was just a big market,
Yeah,
so they kind of just went that route. Is he the like most Bears worthy like Madden cover player of recent years past? No, but he's a quarterback, so he gets elevated.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of it's the culmination of the clutch, right? Like, he didn't statistically have the best quarterback season by any means, but he had a lot of big time throws. And like you said, the market, it's for me personally, and I don't know about you, but I haven't bought Madden in goodness 2 to 3 years, and now I'm obligated to go buy this one because Caleb's on the cover. I'm not getting the download. I'm gonna go buy the hard copy so I can keep it. I might buy two just to keep one in the case as a collector's item. But yeah, I'm excited. I looked into the curse thing. There's definitely some curse worries, but there were also some quarterbacks that were on the cover. Like I think Brady was on the cover and won a Super Bowl. Um, there's another guy I'm forgetting that was on the cover that had a good season. I know a lot of people like to make it out to be a curse, and it has been for some players. I mean, uh, Peyton Hillis was on a cover at one point. Peyton Hillis, you know. Uh, so maybe it'll work out. I've got to. I'll be right back. I got to let this cat out,
Yeah, you're good.
or he's gonna keep he's gonna keep walking in the way. Uh, but yeah, I think I'm excited, man. I'm not too worried about a curse. I think if anything, like the worst thing that happens is he gets injured. I think Ben Johnson's got all the skill in the world and all the coaching ability in the world that I'm not too worried about that part of it being a letdown. So, but it's exciting nonetheless, man. We got a guy on the Madden cover, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, he's
They've been
definitely a video game player. I'll say when you load up the Madden, he's the type of quarterback that you want to play with when you're
Oh
playing Madden.
yeah, you want to be able to run and throw. And is it are they the highlights that they have on there? It's like the comebacks. Like, how awesome is that? That Packers fans are going to have to open up that game, and they're going to have to see their team getting beat on the beginning first clip when the game fires up. I love that. I love that. It's about time, you know. It's about damn time because I've had to see the Randall Cobb crosser beating us like a million times. It's the slant play that always breaks our hearts. It's good that we finally got one. You know, it's good that we're making them uncomfortable for once. They were very salty on Twitter. A lot of making fun of Caleb. Like they got him one with a purse, and he's doing like this whole like thing. They got him one where he's like bent over with the big booty. Like they're definitely salty on Twitter, and it's fun. It's fun to see that because usually it's us getting made fun of. So I'm glad that we're making them a little uncomfortable. But also out of Bears camp, what do you think about this Rome foot situation? I know in the news, or like he was talking to reporters, and he basically said that like, yeah, I'm still getting used to everything. This is going to be my new norm. How do you feel about that and his projecting him going forward? Like, do you think that takes him down a notch on his ceiling? Like, is this something we really need to be concerned about long term? Foot injuries are not good.
Yeah, somebody with extremely limited medical knowledge when it comes to stuff like that, I am concerned for sure. When you hear, new normal, especially when it comes to your feet, yeah, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
So I think it's just as a fan, it's just about absorbing information and hearing from those who have a little bit more insight into again what that injury means going forward and how the healing process is, and it's different for every person. And so I guess his foot, like when it healed, it's like callous in a certain way, and it's different. And I mean, and that makes sense. Like I've broke like bones in my hand, and like my hand's like different. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily like a pain thing, but it's different. And you've broken a bone, and your bones grow back stronger, so that's the good thing. But again, when you're talking about your feet callousing, like I'm more worried about almost like imbalances when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to one foot being different than the other. But I'm also encouraged because he's aware of it. I think it's important to be aware. If you're not the same player, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it just means like, hey, I may need to spend a little bit more time, getting treatment after and before games, and just being conscious of, hey, I broke my foot in year 2, so going forward, I have to do this in order to maintain level at a higher, like at the high level of play that I'm used to or that I want to get to. Because we haven't necessarily seen it before the injury. He was obviously playing at a high level, but he's still like ninth overall pick. We want Rome to be like that guy. So, I mean, Julio Jones broke his foot early in his career, and we saw Julio Jones. We saw the player
Yeah.
that he turned out to be,
Really good.
and we don't know, if his foot calloused a certain way, and he had a new norm. And again,
Didn't look like it, did it?
yeah, no, it didn't. And I haven't. I mean, there's some guys who are saying, I think it was like Clay Harbor, like, yeah, Rome looked a little slow getting it out of his breaks and da 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 da. And I mean, it's still like early, you know what I mean, in the year. So I think you're basically just getting your feet underneath you during
Mm-hmm.
OTAs. I'll be more concerned, come preseason time if he's looking like Keenan Allen was, when we had Keenan Allen
Right.
just looking a little slow. And Rome's got some nuance to his game. He may not have been, an A-plus route runner to begin with, but he was good and he had athleticism. And
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of like a jump ball type wide receiver. So he doesn't necessarily need to be this quick, bursty guy. He just needs
Right.
to be mentally sharp and aware and get to the spot when he
Get
needs
to
to
your
be there.
spots. Yeah.
And again, win some jump ball situations. That's what I want to see from Rome this year. Listen, if he's, a step slower, obviously that's not ideal. But we drafted Rome because of the plays he made at the University of Washington, where he was going up and winning catch ball situations at like a 70% clip.
Yeah.
That's what we want Rome to be. Luther's the quick, twitchy, explosive,
Break your
Amon
tackles.
Ross, St. Brown type player in this
Mm-hmm.
offense. And so Rome just needs to be the big body X receiver who also can break the game when the time comes, because he's more than capable of doing that.
Oh, for sure. And that's the nice part for the Bears is like there's not as much pressure on him. Like we're not solely relying on him. We got Burden. We have Loveland as probably our there. And honestly, coming into the year, even before like this comment about the foot, like I would have had Burden and Loveland 1A 1B anyways over Rome. Just and then I know Rome had a good start to the year and then he got injured and everything. But like to me, where Ben Johnson's offense is going to thrive is probably going to be more through Bird and Loveland. And then you have Rome to make those big plays, to go up and get one-on-one balls. That is what concerns me with his foot is that going to affect his timing on those jumps? And maybe he's just getting used to it, and this is going to be the new norm and how he's going to have to adjust there. But like you said, like for him, if he does lose a step, it's just going to be about getting to your spots, making sure, you're doing all the right things technically that, you don't necessarily need athleticism for. So I'm still hopeful, I'm glad that there's not pressure on, like, we're not expecting him like Kevin White. We were expecting Kevin White to come in and change the franchise when we drafted him. Rome, there's a little less pressure there. And I think as long as he, like you said, manages his health and gets the treatments before and after and adjusts to this new norm correctly, he's still going to be a solid player. And if he's your third best receiver on your team, that's a pretty damn good receiving core. So that's kind of I'm a little worried. Like, I'd buy low in fantasy if you could, but I'd also, like, if you could get Loveland or Burden in fantasy, like, those are some guys I'd be looking at in favor over Rome. But
yeah, I think Loveland deserves a bulk of the targets.
Hell yeah.
And at this point, it's not ideal where we drafted Rome. Obviously, you want a superstar wide receiver with the 9th pick, but if we can get like a couple like Alshon Jeffrey type years from Rome,
absolutely,
we're ecstatic.
Oh yeah, you can. If he gives us Alshon Jeffrey years with what we think Burden and Loveland are and can be, I mean, the Bears in theory could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. I mean, that is in the realm of possibilities. I don't know if Ben gets there just because Ben loves to run the ball 30 to 35 times a game, but they have the talent to do that, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. I saved this last topic because this is probably where 90% of my curse words are going to come in. And this will be the last thing we get to talk about tonight. But the stadium, Indiana, all in. They've pushed the chips on. Now, nothing is official yet, but everything we're seeing seems like it's 99% a done deal that they're going to Indiana. What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? I mean, I think it's kind of cool. Obviously, I live in Hammond.
Yeah, you're up there in Northwest Indiana. How far are you going to be from the new projected stadium?
I'll be like 10, 15 minutes away from the stadium.
All right, party at CP's house.
Yeah, so
yes.
I mean, we could tailgate and go to the game and go to the casino after.
Yes.
So, I'm a little biased. It'll be interesting to see, like taxes-wise, what it does. And I think they've.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be getting taxed, buddy.
Yeah, I think they've laid out that most of it will come, within the stadium, though, as far as like ticket sales and
hotels too.
Yeah, taxes.
I think was on there. Yeah,
exactly. So that'll be interesting. I trust Indiana knows what they're doing as well. Indiana doesn't run at a deficit like Illinois.
They're not a bunch of
Texas,
fucking idiots.
I moved here. I work in Hammond, so I wanna live close to work, but I live like 3 minutes from the Illinois border, and I think I told you when I moved back, I'm from Illinois. I'm like I'm moving to Indiana just for tax purposes, man.
Yeah,
I love Illinois. I'm proud of my home state. They're just really greedy with their taxes, and they don't have a lot to show for it.
They're a bunch of fucking shysters, dude.
Yeah.
The fucking most corrupt fucking group of political people that run our state. It's fucking disgusting.
The Windy City, man. The Windy City.
Yeah, they're trying to make it the Windy Shitty. I mean, they're already doing it,
So yeah, I think it's typical. It's typical. Again, you've talked about Illinois politicians and how they stand, and the writing's been on the wall with not only the stadium but all the headquarters that have left Illinois. I think they tried to get a dime instead of a nickel, and they ended up getting nothing. And this is happening with so many different businesses.
Yeah.
Company
I work for, they moved their headquarters down to Texas. Boeing, they moved out. There's another big one I can't think of. They moved out. Yeah, you're just seeing a mass exodus because they're like, all right, we're not going to put up with your bullshit. You're going to nickel and dime us over every little fucking thing. All right, well, there goes 10,000 jobs,
It's
dickheads.
dude, it's
I
everything. I
mean,
mean, how much are you paying for a gallon of gas right now?
brother, over 450. And I'll tell you, it's insane, dude. I went to Iowa over the weekend for one of my good friends' son's birthday parties. 369 we paid. It was like a or no, it's 359. I don't know, it's about a
Yeah,
dollar
about
cheaper.
yeah,
About a dollar cheaper. That's fucking insane.
yeah.
What are we doing? I I I just so I'm 50-50 on this whole thing, right? Uh so for one, everyone's like, oh, the Indiana Bears. Literally this new stadium projected is like less than 21 miles from where Soldier Field is. And Northwest Indiana is Chicagoland to me. I know some people are all butthurt and they're going to sell their season tickets. I say that's a little bit ridiculous. Like, it's not that egregious. Be mad at your state because, for one, the Bears bought that land where they were going to build in Arlington Heights. They footed the bill on that. The Bears were offering to bring, so with the construction and everything, at one point it'd be 20,000 jobs. And then once construction was done and everything, it'd still end up holding 10,000 jobs just from that area alone with the hotels and everything else around it, stadium jobs, etc. They were trying to bring jobs to the state. And the greedy ass fucks down in Springfield said, we want more. We want more. Well, guess what? Fuck you. They're leaving the state. And you can't tax us for any more bullshit. But it's just how I feel about the Illinois politicians. They're going to tax me to breathe at some point at the rate they're going. Um, it's just asinine, dude. I can't believe that they couldn't fucking figure it out how to keep this team in the state. I mean, I can't believe it. And that's why I'm kind of glad that they're going to Indiana as a big fuck you because they tried to bully the Bears around and tried to dictate everything the Bears did. And that fat sack of shit governor who and this is not a Republican or Democrat endorsement. He's just a fat sack of shit. I'm not trying to get political. He fucking sucks. This guy tried to say we're not going to help billionaire owned. Motherfucker, you're a billionaire. What are we talking about? I'm sorry. I have a lot of feelings about this, and this is good for charity because I the counter's going up pretty high. But what the fuck is he talking about? This franchise was trying to bring jobs to the state, in a state where jobs are leaving consistently, and they just tried to extort them for more money. And I'm glad that the Bears put their foot down and didn't. I know it sucks to lose the legacy of being in the same state in the same place for so long, but when you're getting extorted like that in another state's like, here, we'll build your stadium for free. It costs you $1. All right, thank you. It's bad politics, bad money management. The state really screwed up. There's no way they're saving this. I mean, they were trying to charge them 50 to 200 million in taxes, and I don't know. It just pisses me off that they dictate so much in our state, and they could have. I think Bears fans probably would have been fine paying the tax to keep them like in Arlington Heights, and nope, we got money for everything else, but not this. I don't know. Kind of just it's a black eye for the state for sure. It's a black eye.
And honestly, like if the op like Hammond's closer to Chicago than Arlington Heights. So if those are your
Yeah.
Chicago was just not a viable option with the
No.
limitations with it being on the lakefront, and again, like you have to have like a certain like view laws where you can't like block the view. I can't remember exactly what it was. We've talked about it before, but there's so many limitations with it being on that lakefront and all the different laws that they have in place and regulations. Indiana does just make sense, and people are like think Indiana's just this big like cesspool of like industrial buildings. And listen, Hammond's not beautiful, but there's a lot of nice surrounding areas to where I'm at. Again, you have like Munster, Highland, Cherville, Maryville. Like there's a really like good collection of towns in this area that are extremely nice. And it's I like it out here. Like I do. Again, I'm 40 minutes from the city. The South Shore, I can get to the city in 40 minutes taking the South Shore. It literally will take me directly to Soldier Field. So, I mean, people will just take the South Shore up to Hammond and get to the game, and again, there's just not a lot of room for. We want parking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's logistically it makes more sense than Arlington Heights. Now that Arlington Heights plot of land is probably more of like a gold mine and more endless possibilities, but I think what they have laid out here in Northwest Indiana is going to be a pretty sweet setup too. And I think sure in a perfect world we're in Chicago on the lakefront with a parking lot, and then we have like the casino and all that, all the amenities that they want. It's kind of like the new Wrigley setup where it's a campus,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful stadium, Chicago Bears campus, all these nice restaurants and bars around, but the limitations are real. So they had to get out of the city, and it was either Arlington Heights or Hammond, and Hammond's closer, and they're gonna get the tax breaks. So again, I'm off. I mean, I'm all for either
Yeah.
one. I'm not
It,
like,
it
oh,
makes
if they
it
go to
makes
Arlington
sense.
Heights, I'm cool with Arlington Heights too. Like
Yeah.
that's fine with me.
It makes sense for like if you're the owner of the team and you're got 50 to 200 million in taxes or no taxes. What are you going to take, right? Another thing that was said too, and in the long line of fucking dumbass mayors of Chicago, did you hear what Brandon Johnson's dumbass said?
All about
This
leaving the game early.
you left the game early. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I can't believe you would admit that on national air. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
So did he pay for his
Totally
tickets?
disconnect.
Do you think he paid for his tickets? I guess is the
No,
question.
hell
Then,
no.
then give those tickets
Totally.
to somebody else who wants to be there.
To, this just shows you how fucking disconnected government officials are from this whole thing. Just that. Why would you ever say that? Why, I don't care. Even if it was the truth, why would you ever admit
Yeah.
that publicly? Your ass is never getting reelected. I hope.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck?
They gave me free tickets to a Bears game, and I didn't realize what they gave me, and I left early.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
mean,
that's privilege. That just
yeah,
screams.
that's all that is.
And most mayors run under the guise of like I'm just like you. I'm working class, and I started from the bottom, and I'm trying to help guys out, the working class. Like, dude, no, I'm not leaving a
Yeah,
Bears playoff game early until the scoreboard hits
yeah.
0, and I
We need to
know for
fix the
sure.
egress out there and make it easier for people to get in and out. No, the city just extorted the Bears over that stadium. Yeah, these are the type of people we have in positions of power in the state of Illinois, and we wonder why we get robbed year after year, whether it be taxes, um, implementing new taxes. I mean, my property taxes are ridiculous. I know that might be more at a local level than a state level, but I mean,
No,
you
it's
see
state.
people. Well,
It's
yeah,
state.
yeah, you see people up in Chicago like they all leave. People go to Tennessee, and I'm not saying that the grass is always greener on the other side, but when your state mismanages funds, I can't remember how far negative they are on the pension fund, but it's not good. It's really not good, and yeah, this is. I guess you could just say it's expected, but I'm glad you're up in Northwest Indiana, like to kind of give us the scoop on what it is like out there, because I think it gives people good perspective on, like you were mentioning the surrounding areas, that there are good areas, and they probably will still be able to build a like what St. Louis and the Cubs have. St. Louis calls theirs Ballpark Village. I think Wrigley's Wrigleyville. Um, they could still probably do something like that in Northwest Indiana. Like you said, the options would have been endless if they went to Arlington Heights. I know, like some of the speculation was like just a bunch of hotels, Bears themed hotels, all sorts of Bears themed stuff, and I'm sure they could still provide some of that in Northwest Indiana, which will be exciting to see, man. I don't, obviously we don't know when exactly the groundbreaking and all this is going to be finalized, but I definitely, even before they get out there, like I need to come up to Northwest Indiana and we'll go catch a game. Maybe this year, might have to be next year, but if we can this year, it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, you could always take the train into the city, man. There's lots of golf courses up here too. I think they're gonna
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think they're gonna knock one down last March to build the stadium. So we'll have to go. And I've heard it's a nice course, so we'll have to go check it
Man,
out before
probably,
before
yeah, they
they
might
tear
get a
it
good
down.
payout to take that bad boy out.
Yeah. Oh, I'd imagine. I'd imagine.
Um, Yeah, I clearly weighed my piece. I am 50-50. I'm more mad at the Illinois lawmakers and the politicians because they've clearly fumbled here. But I think I'm happy for the franchise. I mean, it's a smart business decision. Indiana basically said, "Here, do what you want, and we'll help you out to get there." And I don't think it's worth getting rid of your season tickets. Definitely send letters to your politicians and complain. That's what I would suggest. Uh, but I think it'll be good for the franchise. I'm not too worried about, people at, the Indiana Bears. Like most NFL teams, like the New York Giants and the New York Jets, they play in Jersey. It's another state. It's not even New York. It's New Jersey. It's a very similar situation. It's not like the Bears are going like 3 hours away from where they're currently located. It's literally less than 21 miles from the current stadium. It's Northwest Indiana is Chicagoland. So that part's not really a big deal. It's just more or less the state losing a team is kind of what really pisses me off. But good for them. Fuck the politicians that are greedy and want to extort this team. I'm happy for the Bears. You got any other thoughts? Anything else you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
No, not really. Hopefully the Cubs can turn it around, but other than that,
God, man, they lose. They haven't won a series since what, April or beginning of May?
yeah, I was at work
That's
the other day and I checked the score of the Giants game and I was like, oh shit,
yeah. It was
they're down
18,
six, yeah,
18-3 was
16.
the
When I
final,
looked at the
or
time or something, it was like, damn, I think it's 16-0. I almost had to check to make sure it wasn't a glitch.
yeah, yeah, man. Their pitching is just really banged up. I mean, no Horton out for the year. Steele's he had a setback in his return.
Yeah,
He'll probably be back around the All-Star break, maybe or after. Cabrera got a blister on his finger. I think Tayon must have got hurt yesterday. The only real bright spot on the rotation right now is Ben Brown, and he's been shoving.
yeah.
But yeah, it's been tough, man. Uh, Hopefully they can get it turned around. That's they spent some money for a change, and it's not really the pitching's just not there right now. It's that's tough to overcome all those injuries to your starting rotation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah, no, other than that, I'm all good, man. I think I said
Yeah,
most of what I had to say.
yeah, good. I got to go back and rewatch probably the last 15 minutes because I was counting my curse words. I was marking them down, and then I started going off, and I lost count. So I want to make sure I get the accurate donation to the Toys for Tots Bowl. Um, Remind you guys too, Toys for Tots Bowl starts this year. It's Fantasy Football League. They're trying to get 240 teams this year. That's the goal. So if you guys are interested and want to get signed up, it's free, but we do take donations. It's a free league, but uh, we ask that you try to donate if you can. And any amount is good. There's no expectation on amount. $10, that helps. That's going to help somebody. It doesn't matter. It's a donation entry fee. So whatever you feel you can donate is always appreciated. Um, yeah, that's all I got, CP. We'll be getting into some more Bears stuff as they get throughout camp. Once camp starts, and maybe probably the next thing we'll talk about is Bulls draft. When is the NBA draft? That's the end of this month.
Yeah. I think it's in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah,
So
so we'll probably be back at you guys with some Bulls draft thoughts. I'm very excited for that, man. I keep seeing that stupid John Morant trade getting floated where the Bulls trade the fourth overall pick, Dillingham, Patrick Williams, and somebody else, and they get John Morant in the third overall pick. I just don't see a world where that happens, but
yeah,
seems to be the one getting floated out lately.
yeah. That's just
It's the
it's a
internet.
slow time. Yeah, it's a slow
Yeah,
time for the Bulls, and the
clicks.
Grizzlies.
Yeah,
I
we need
imagine.
clicks. Yeah.
So, well, all
All
right,
right,
man.
buddy. Well, it was good talking to you, man, and we'll be back here soon.
All right, peace
See you,
out.
brother. Later.